Whenever I am about to perform a play or give a reflection, I always find a spot where I can sit alone and mentally prepare. I've been doing it since college, and I don't really think about it, I just do it. A fellow actor asked me in my last production why I do it. Well, in that moment, I couldn't give him an answer. Only after a few days of really going back in my mind did I even remember how it started. No matter how much I prepare or rehearse before an appearance, I get really nervous. There were a few times when the nerves won and caused a few highly awkward appearances. So I began finding a quiet space where I could just breathe, clear my mind of Nellson, and open myself up to my character or to my talk. I've learned to use that nervous energy to give my characters more emotional depth and my reflections more interesting life, I hope. Over the years, I've added to the ritual by running my first few lines and reminding myself of the emotional journey that I want to share. In time, that ritual has found its way into my spiritual practice. Now, I have been asked by several of you why I always sit in the back of Community Hall. Well, a very small part of that is the practice comes from my father telling me to never sit with my back to the door. But I really do it because before our service, I try to clear my head of Nellson, his week, his world, so that I am truly open to experience our community and our service. As Unitarians and Universalists, we emphasize the importance of individual spiritual practice as a means of spiritual growth and development. Spiritual practices are intentional activities and disciplines that help us to connect with our inner selves and all of creation, fostering spiritual growth, awareness, and ultimately, personal transformation. To achieve that goal here, we offer a variety of resources to help deepen spiritual practice. The Islamic perspective on spiritual practice is holistic and emphasizes the integration of spiritual and physical aspects of life. The body and the soul are interconnected and should be nurtured to achieve spiritual growth. Pope Francis described spiritual practice as a profound experience of interior joy that strengthens faith and hope and encourages individuals to do good. Buddhist teachings present a comprehensive view of spiritual practice. It emphasizes the importance of discipline and wholesome action as a guide for our essential nature as compassionate beings. Three seemingly different spiritual paths, but almost the identical same view on practice. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike, says poet Maya Angelou. Spiritual practice is and should be individual and personal. Now, some might call my little ritual meditation. Meditation is a mental practice that trains attention and awareness to achieve a calm, clear, and focused state of mind. Others might call it prayer. Prayer being defined as an act of communication with the sacred. A dear friend, a transgender Lutheran minister in Glen Falls, Andrew Nellson, reminded me that how we design our lives can help support our spiritual practice when they made the following analogy. Every Wednesday, from August through December, the Albany Gay Men's Chorus gets together for choir practice, taking music piece by piece, layer by layer, as we learn together how to sing our own voice parts and how to hear each other, to blend, for a balanced and beautiful sound. Spiritual practice is like this. No matter which spiritual path you're on, we build the bigger picture together by figuring out who we are, piece by piece, layer by layer, listening to each other while clarifying our own voice. Spiritual practices are taught, handed down from written text, or from oral practice, like music. Sometimes we find ourselves returning to melodies and harmonies that give us comfort and courage. Sometimes we improvise. Sometimes we discover a new melody sparked by a jingle on the radio or a snippet of someone's speech. Spiritual practice writes these themes and practices on our brains, hearts, even our bodies as we engage in singing, writing, walking, dancing, kneeling, breathing. Intention can make even a morning cup of coffee into spiritual practice. I love their analogy. Hopefully, however you have designed your spiritual practice, it is stimulated by our communal ritual of lighting our chalice, chanting thoughtful and heartfelt words, sharing uplifting songs, attending to each other's joys and sorrows, and getting to know each other better over coffee or lemonade. Hopefully, we encourage each other on that personal journey to spiritual practice while offering a like-minded community of fellowship, emotional support, and comradeship. It is, and I know this sounds a bit corny, but it is always soul-satisfying for me to share our time on Sunday mornings. Knowing that I belong to a loving community that accepts me as I am. Clearly, we are a congregation that is unafraid to take on social, political, and community issues to facilitate change. However, to effect change or healing in our families, our friends, and our neighbors, we need to share what is gained here on Sunday with them, as uncomfortable as it may feel. I mean, nobody wants to be thought of as a missionary pushing their beliefs on unsuspecting folks who are simply trying to live their lives. But the reality is that our spiritual practice must move beyond these four walls in order to facilitate the healing that we want for ourselves, our families, our neighborhoods, and our world. Supporting political and social activism is essential. How good are we at one-on-one, small group activism to help heal? For me, that is so much harder. I mean, how do I share the freedom that my soul feels here with other people? Can I allow that nervous energy to replace the awkwardness that I might feel about sharing my intimate spirituality? The aforementioned Albany Gay Men's Chorus is invited every year to participate in the More Light service at the First Presbyterian Church of Albany. Given the treatment of the LGBTQIA community by religious institutions in the past, it is understandable that we have a problem getting a significant number of our members to participate in that Sunday morning church service. With the chorus, I have always kept my spiritual ideology to myself. Well, I'm no longer comfortable doing that. I believe in redemption. People and institutions can change, honestly change. So I shared with my chorus mates that I became an ordained Presbyterian deacon because of the More Light ministry that almost split the Presbyterian Church. Tons of Presbyterian congregations felt that the national and international church's position on the LGBTQIA community wasn't supported by the Bible as they saw it. They began the More Light ministry to specifically encourage the participation of the LGBTQIA plus community in their congregations and in their pulpits. This was their way to say, we were wrong, we understand that now, and we are trying to make it right. This year, we still had difficulty getting all of our members to participate in the More Light service, but we had more this year than we did last year, so I will keep sharing my spiritual ideology and hope for better results next year. I'm bolstered by the fact that the last time the chorus was invited to sing here on a Sunday morning, almost the entire chorus showed up. Spiritual practice is a way for us to navigate life, clarity, compassion, and meaning. It can incorporate prayer, meditation, yoga, mysticism, music, chant, silence, communal worship. It is very individual and very personal. The aim is to harmonize the mind, body, and spirit, leading to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. How we share those revelations with our family, friends, and community can make a tremendous contribution to our world and to their individual lives. Make Them Hear You can move beyond being a rousing song to being a fundamental bedrock of our communal mindset. Asante Sana, may it be so. Amen.